Hi everyone, my name is Yvonne Johnson and I am here with my husband Orville. Orville loves talking to people, so you may have met him already. As you can tell from my accent, we are from London, and it is an honour and a pleasure to be here to share my 11 Labs experience with you all.
Okay. Perfect. And it is amazing. We love having you on 11 Labs, but before you found 11 Labs, had you used any other tools or considered traditional voice banking?
11 Labs is now my best buddy for communication. Before 11 Labs, my speech had not progressed to the stage that it is now due to my ALS diagnosis. And if there were difficulties with anyone understanding me, I used a communication app called Speech Assistant on my cell phone, or just write a note. Often my facial expression speaks for itself, and I've been told that I am very animated.
And for those of you who are less familiar with traditional voice banking, what it looks like is you read a certain amount of sentences, phrases, words, and you put that into a computer to generate speech, but it tends to come out quite robotic. It tends to sound a bit more like Stephen Hawking. And with 11 Labs, because the inputs can be anything from a wedding video to WhatsApp notes to voicemails, you get this really human inflection that comes out of it that kind of reflects somebody in a way that traditional voice banking, I think, has a hard time doing. So for you, could you tell us what it was like to hear your 11 Labs voice for the first time?
I was totally and utterly blown away. I forgot how London Cockney I was. A wave of nostalgia passed through me. I felt torn with my emotion, part of me feeling very proud of my North London Cockney accent, and the other part feeling so emotional about not having my natural voice anymore.
That's very real. I think you don't really realize how much your voice is a part of yourself and your identity until you lose it. Yeah. But I think you've made incredible use with your voice. And amazing news, Yvonne and her beautiful husband Orville celebrated 25 years of marriage this year. And to celebrate, they had a vow renewal ceremony. And at this ceremony, Yvonne surprised her guests by using her 11 Labs voice to share her vows. And I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that experience.
My husband Orville wasn't openly surprised. It didn't sink in at first that it was my original voice talking through the 11 Labs. Once he realized, it had a big impact on him. Almost everyone in my church has known me since before my ALS diagnosis. So it was mind-blowing for them to hear my original voice again. For the few people who have known me for a shorter time, it was like, wow, that's how Yvonne used to sound. There wasn't a dry eye in the building. And it was a day to remember. For me, my family, and my friends, we will never forget it. And 11 Labs helped make it so special, giving me my voice back just in time to renew my wedding vows.
I know you guys must all be devastated that you were not there at the ceremony, but not to worry, we are filming these incredible documentaries, Yvonne included, and so we got to capture this moment on film for all of you guys. And not only did we capture this, but as I said earlier, I was flying around the UK and the US, acting as both a director and producer, and I got to spend the day with Yvonne and her family in London, sharing lunch and being in your garden. And can you tell me, for you, what was that day like?
Well, I felt like a celebrity, just like will.i.am. In seriousness, I felt so proud to have my husband and children involved in my purpose to raise awareness about ALS. It was a warm, sunny day, and my eldest son was also visiting from Canada, so he was able to be part of it all too. It was also a great opportunity to show 11 Labs just how important it is for people like me to be able to use our original voice to communicate with others, and the impact it has on our lives and our loved ones.
Absolutely. It makes such a difference, I think. Absolutely. It makes such a difference, particularly for people based in England, because there's so many of the voices that are all standard American voices. And I remember, if you've ever seen the movie Theory of Everything, it's like a shock to Stephen Hawking when it's like, why is it not a British voice? And suddenly, the opportunity to really be you is there. Yeah. And we did our best to capture it on camera, but could you tell us what it's really like to navigate the world with your 11 Labs voice?
I absolutely love using my 11 Labs voice, because it's my voice, my unique voice, and it is part of who I am, and it means the world to me. When your speech changes or you lose your speech, you lose a huge part of your identity, which can isolate you from society. I say this because this is my lived experience. 11 Labs voices have hugely impacted the lives of people with changed or lost speech, and yet there's still more to do. Picture this. 11 Labs is available in over 70 languages, including 8 in Africa and 12 in India, taken together representing nearly 3 billion people. These 11 Labs voices are completely free for people living with permanent speech change, like me, and so very many others. There has never been anything like 11 Labs before, and it will help a lot of people to reclaim what they felt they had lost forever, and in the languages they choose to speak in daily life. The problem is we now need an app that is also free to use 11 Labs with and works for people like me to easily communicate. The opportunity of the free 11 Labs voices through the Impact program are limitless, but communication apps for people with disabilities are expensive and out of reach to many people in Africa, India, and so many other places in the world. And if you're up for solving this problem, I can help design it with you. We do this together, and the world will be talking a lot more, including those that are not being given the opportunity to be heard right now. I love my 11 Labs voice, and I want everyone else in the world to love theirs too, and be able to use it as easily as I can right here and right now with you.
Now, you can tell that Yvonne and I are quite familiar with each other. This is not the first time that we've shared the stage, actually. I've had the pleasure to talk to her in many places, and then the first time we actually spoke with each other in front of a crowd was at the 11 Labs office in London. And it was a very interesting talk because after, a really big thing that we reflected on is how rare and powerful it is to see 2 Black women openly talking about personal struggles. I mean, motor neuron disease is no joke. And being on this stage together is such a meaningful step, right? But what else needs to happen to help others feel comfortable doing the same?
When I was diagnosed with this condition, I thought that ALS was rare in my community, but that's not the case. It was only because people in my community were not talking or sharing, because that's the way cultural tradition is when dealing with health and medical issues. People say, don't talk about it. Don't share how you feel. Truth is this. Sharing knowledge and breaking cultural traditions is critical. We should be talking about our health and medical issues that we might be experiencing. And by doing so, we'll help others begin to feel at ease. We have to start somewhere.
Absolutely, absolutely. And building on that, we often hear the term AI for good, right? We hear it in the industry and most certainly with this program. But to you, what does true AI for good look like?
What is AI for good? Well, you're hearing it right now. My voice is generated by AI, but the content is generated by me. 11 Labs AI helps me to be myself and advocate for change for millions of people around the world like me. AI like this transforms life, opening many doors, and not only for me, but for people who want a career, earn a wage, put food on the table for their kids, and say they love them, get a PhD, build stuff, do stuff, say a lot of stuff, and even become an inspirational entrepreneur like Will I Am. AI for good gives me the freedom to speak and stop staying silent, to be seen and heard, and to stop being isolated, to be a part of society and make positive change, to not be ignored and hidden away by stigma and tradition. I will tell you this, you may see me as a person with ALS. You may see me as a person in a wheelchair. You may see me as disabled. But here is the truth. I have a purpose and mission on this planet. And I'm only just getting started. So let's get talking, and I'll go first.
Sorry. I mean, what you said was beautiful. Yeah. Of course. But it's interesting, in particular, what you said about, there are people trying to put food on the table for their families, getting PhDs. I've met so many people in Yvonne's situation, through these documentaries and just through running the Impact program, who are trying to do so many things, be writers, be, movie makers, be visual artists, all from, even though they have this condition, they just do not let it stop them in whatever it is that they're trying to do in this world, which is absolutely amazing. And when I asked if you would come all this way from London, which I thought was such a huge ask, you just immediately said yes, not a problem. And not only did you say yes, but you told me, the more I do to raise awareness gives me purpose and empowerment. And can you speak a bit more on that?
I certainly can. You see, when you have been diagnosed with a life-limiting disease, and let me speak from my own experience, my life literally stood still for 24 hours, I kid you not. Within those 24 hours, I consulted my faith. I cried for my children. I was devastated over my planned career, and my recently received degree in health and social care was now down the bloody drain. As far as I was concerned, my life was over. Then my husband reminded me about my faith and that the diagnosis did not define me. I was still Yvonne. From that day, the more I shared my story, my journey, and raised awareness, I felt empowered and purposeful. Sharing helps me to keep going and to keep fighting. I'd be lying if I said that I didn't have moments of overwhelming sadness and frustration, because I do. I'm only human. Saying all that, I am blessed with amazing family and friends.
Well, Yvonne, we're absolutely blessed to have you here today. But to this audience, are there any final words that you want to leave them with?
As I often say, knowledge is power, as I'm sure you all can agree. Can I ask you to take what you have heard and share with your peers, employees, colleagues, on every platform you are fortunate to have access to? This is the only way we can help communities, countries, and the whole world what AI is doing for people with speech change and loss, as well as other needs. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. And I'm ready for that joint photo with me and Sophia now.
Thank you so much. Thank you to Yvonne Johnson, everybody.